In preschools, quite often, I'm called in because the approach that's working with most children is having the opposite result with a particular child. And one of the things that I see most often happen is teachers are trying to use logic to explain to children what it is they want them to do, or what it is, what they're doing is wrong or bad or incorrect or hurting somebody else. And the truth is, those children know those things, and you need to operate from the assumption that they already understand them. And when you do that, you can start to set consequences so that children, and you change the tone of that relationship. Once you start acting from the standpoint of, I'm going to assume they understand these things. And quite often it's about teaching teachers how to do a little less to get a better result. And creating a little space and letting small consequences teach the child. So the child, understanding that if you don't explain to the child and you simply give a small bit of consequence, the child will fill in the gap that you used to fill in with explanation, with their own understanding of what works and doesn't work. And the expectations all of a sudden higher, because then you have classrooms where children know that they're expected to rise to a certain level. In the past, that level was filled in with the information given to them by the teacher about what was expected to them. And it was filled in all the time so that children almost blocked them from moving into that space themselves and taking that responsibility. So giving too much information, even to a small child, is detrimental. In a sense, I think, I was trying to think of how to frame this. And I think when we go in to give a child information about what they're doing is wrong, or how it's not helpful, or it's not getting them what they want, it comes from an instinct to try to protect the child from failure. Okay? So when a teacher rushes in, or a parent rushes in, to stop a child with information or direction before they fail, they've also stolen from them the opportunity for victory. Because now if the child does it, it's not the child's victory. It's the teacher's victory, or it's the parent's victory. And so I think our children are, in a sense, by too much guidance, with too much information, being told too many things that they can figure out themselves or they already know, we're robbing from them that victory that happens only when you figure it out yourself. Only when you realize what you want and you make a choice and you learn from your mistakes if necessary, and you move forward. And the atmosphere is very different in those two places. One is filled with expectation and hope. The other one is filled with anxiety. And while it's protective, it doesn't communicate hope and faith in the child's ability. And so there's no space for them to fill it. So telling a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, after they've hit their little brother or sister, that's bad, I don't like you to do that, it's wrong, see, you've hurt them. And then they do it again, and you tell them again it's wrong. And you tell them again it's wrong. All they're really learning is, look, you might say it's wrong, but what happens when I do that is you talk to me in an animated way and she drops my toy. It's as if you were walking, every day when you walked home from work, the doors of the bank were open and there was a big table out with stacks of money. And one day you went in and they said, hello, how are you? And nice to meet you. And you went and you picked up 3 or 4 bundles and they said, oh, don't do that. That's not a nice thing to do. And you looked at them and you put the bundles of money in your pocket and they said, that's not nice. And you walked out and you left and nothing happened. The next day, you'd go in again and you'd get more money. And you'd do it day after day if all you got was a lecture about how not nice it was. So children are smart when they're continuing to do a behavior because the actions that are happening are are okay with them. They're making a logical decision. They're doing their research and they're finding, hey, look, there's actually no negative effect to doing this, and it's a lot of fun and it's pretty effective. So, like putting money in your, in your pockets every day and then walking out of the room. It's like, okay, you say it's bad, but I go home and all of a sudden I fed all the kids in my neighborhood. I think it was good.